guys, welcome back to my channel. If you didn't get the memo, I'm dabbling in booktuber. I wanted to say booktuber talk. No, I'm dabbling into booktube. I made my first book video a couple weeks ago and it was reading for 24 hours straight. I had the best time ever. I loved reading all of those books and it was so fun to see how many books I could read. And I'll be doing another one of those in about 2 or 3 weeks because I seriously just had the best time ever. And I loved getting like 4 books under my belt for the month. But today we're gonna go through every single book that I read in the month of July. I'm actually moving out of my apartment this weekend, so I know I won't be reading any books or finishing any books. So that's why this video is going up a little bit early. I'm excited to show you guys because I feel like I read a lot of really great books this month. There really wasn't any that I didn't like, so I just have a bunch of great recommendations for you guys. Yeah, let's do it. This is honestly heavy. First off, I have the club. This is actually for my book club. Me and like 10 of my college friends are doing a little monthly book club, and this was the book that was chosen for this month. We haven't met yet. We're supposed to meet on Monday, but let me just tell you, this was so hard to read. It's a Reese's Book Club rec, and I was just surprised because I expected it to be really good. Honestly, it's a shorter book. It's about 300 pages, but it took me so long. It honestly was so hard to read and get myself to be engaged and interested in what was going on for 50% of the book. Like, I feel like right when I hit 50%, I started to kind of understand what was going on. There's a lot of different characters. They're all like honestly boring and I just didn't care. I rated this a 2-star. It just wasn't for me. I have a hard time rating books because overall, like, I think that they're still a good book and I still, you know, somewhat enjoyed reading it, but I just didn't like it. I wouldn't ever recommend this to someone. It was so slow and the ending was just like, there were like twists and turns, but like I honestly just didn't care. 2 stars. This was my least favorite book of the month, so I wanted to get it out of the way first thing. Just wasn't for me. I actually do think, I was saying this to one of my friends, I think that this book would be really good as a limited series, like maybe 5-6 episodes. I think it would be so good. I just think reading it, it was just really slow. Took so long to get into, but I think in like a limited series form, it would be really good and have a lot of potential. So interesting. That was like an interesting feeling that I had. I read Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. This was so good. This is my favorite book that I read this month. I think I rated this a 4-star in my reading for 24 hours video, but I changed my mind and I rated it to 5 stars. I think I changed another rating in here from that video. That's what always happens to me though. Like right when I finish a book, I don't have a good understanding of how I actually felt about it. I have like my initial feelings, my initial ratings, but I really need to give myself like a couple days before rating because my feelings change and the way that I like look back on the book changes. So I think this is a solid 5 stars. I think I rated it 4.5, but it's a solid 5 stars. This is one of my favorite books I've like ever read, honestly. It's a romance book. It's actually about 2 doctors. It flips back and forth between their perspectives, which I really enjoyed because their internal dialogue is just written so well, especially the guy in this because he has a lot of anxiety and overthinking, and so hearing him like work out the different ways interactions went and just the way he like was reacting to things because of the way that he was thinking about things was so interesting. It was a little frustrating at times because you're hearing so much internal dialogue from each character, the 2 main characters, and they're just never on the same page, but the ending was so good. Honestly surprised me. I really wasn't sure how it was gonna end up, and I just loved it. It was so good. I highly recommend you read this book. Then I read Community by Nicole Meredith. This is actually a book that one of my friend's sisters from high school wrote, and it was so good. I rated it 5 stars. I can't believe this was her first book. I can't believe that she wrote this. It was just so impressive, and like the world she created, like she literally created this whole world. I really fell in love with each character, and that was interesting because I've never really felt like that before. I'm usually pretty critical, and even like some of the bad characters, like you really just, you get a really good picture of like who each person is, and even the bad ones, like their character development and just like the way you started to feel like you know these people was amazing. I love the world that's created. There better be a second book. I feel like there could be multiple books and this could be a series. So hopefully that's happening and you guys should go read it and we can read the series together as the books come out. Next, I read The Night She Disappeared by Lisa Jewell. This was another one that I read in my 24 hours reading straight. I didn't really enjoy this. It was fine. Thrillers are tough because they are interesting. So the ratings are always hard for me because yeah, it's cool how things, you know, turn out in the end, but I just didn't really vibe with it that well. I didn't really like the ending. There's one specific character, honestly two, but like one character that I really disliked in this book, and it was just so annoying to read anything with her, like when it was her in it, and I had a really hard time. This same author actually wrote Then She Was Gone, and I loved that book. I thought that book was so good. That is like honestly a 4 or 5 stars for me. I read it like last fall, so I don't feel like it'd be fair to rate it right now, but this was like a solid 3. I was interested the whole time that I was reading it, and I kept going back and forth of whether I was like enjoying myself or not. Overall, I enjoyed myself, but is it like a great thriller? No. I don't know. There were just like some characters in this book that I didn't really like, even though I don't think I was supposed to necessarily like dislike them. There was one that I think I was supposed to hate and I did, and it honestly made me like hate the book. Like I just thought she was gross. I don't know. I don't really have much to say. I just didn't completely vibe with the book. I didn't really like the ending. I didn't really like the twist either, but I did enjoy myself like throughout while I was reading it, but I don't know. I would recommend this as like a maybe. Then I read Happy Place by Emily Henry. I've only read one other Emily Henry book in the past, and it was People We Meet on Vacation, and I actually didn't like it. I thought it was just very bland. I'd probably rate it like a 2 or 3. I read it last summer though, so again, like not fair for me to rate it now. Probably like a 2 or a 3. It also took me a long time to finish, so that could have been a reason, but I read Happy Place. I was so excited to read this because like the cover is so cute, obviously, and everybody's talking about this book. This is another one that I read in my Reading for 24 Hours Straight video. It was the last book that I read. I was so delusional. I rated it 4 stars, and I actually am gonna bump it down to a 3 star. It was a solid like summer easy read, but it just didn't like give me much. I didn't feel like super connected to the characters, to be honest, and although I did like the story between like the main character and this guy, I just found it to be like kind of annoying when they were like going back and forth, and it was just a little frustrating, and I just, there was a lot that I didn't enjoy. I just feel like it was a solid 3. Like it's definitely a good book to read. It's hyped up, not a bad book, but nothing out of this world for me to like rave about. Maybe I just don't like Emily Henry. I really need to read a couple more of her books and see, because I'm off to a bad start, okay? I need to read Book Lovers. I heard that's good. I mean, the cover's obviously so cute. Then I read Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Tales from the Cafe. I actually think that I was supposed to read a book before this one. I'm not sure if it matters. I just realized that today. I had no idea. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to read that. I hope it didn't matter that I read this one first, but I loved it. This was so good. It's so quick too. It's like less than 200 pages, and it's like 5 little mini stories all taking place at the same cafe with the same people that work at the cafe, and these different people arrive, and it's their stories. They're really short. They're about like, I don't know, 50 or less pages each. So good. I really enjoyed it. It kind of made me feel, I don't know if like nostalgic is the right word, but it just hit a little different, you know? I'm very curious as to what you guys have to say about this, if you've read it, and like what your feelings were about it, because I can't put it into words, but I really liked it. It was just kind of deep too. I liked it a lot. I rated this 5 stars. Next up, I have The Housemaid. Oh, I loved this book. I read this in, with the exception of the books that I read in the 24-hour like reading challenge, this was the only book that I read in a full day, like finished it in one day, and I just loved it. I thought it was so good. I had no idea that the twist was gonna happen. I didn't see it coming at all. If you haven't read this, you really need to. Such a good thriller. I need to read more of Frieda McFadden's books. This was my first one and it was so good. I literally didn't stop reading it. When I say I read it in like one day, I mean I literally like sat down and just read it for hours until I finished. It was that good. And then the last book is The Summer of Broken Rules by Walther. I rated this 4 stars. This was the first book that I read in my 24-hour reading challenge, and it was such a good book to kick off that challenge with. I really enjoyed it. I read it super quick. Such a good summer read. You guys definitely should read this before the summer's over. I think it just hit different being in the summer, and it had a lot of like childhood, family vacation, nostalgia vibes in it. I loved the main character and her love interests, like chat and banter. It was written really well, and I just enjoyed every single scene with them where they were talking to each other. It was so good. I rated it 4 stars. It was just a solid read. So cute. If you're someone who likes to read books that like you know are going to be good, it's like a quick, easy read, this is definitely a good one. I did thoroughly enjoy it. These are all the books that I read this month. How many is there? 8 books this month. These are all the books that I read in the month of July. I hope that you guys liked this video. If you guys want me to do this every single month, let me know. More book videos to come in the future, as well as I have a week in my life coming after this video. And then I'm going to be doing another 24-hour reading challenge in a couple weeks. I also have a couple books I just picked up for another challenge that I want to do, and then just sprinkling in some of my normal vlogs. So I hope that you guys like this video. I'll link all these books down below for you guys. I also have a Goodreads, so if you guys want to go see what I'm reading throughout the month on there, I update that every time I finish a book. Let me know what you guys thought of these books in the comments. Spoiler free. If you guys want to DM me and talk about spoilers and things that happened, follow me on Instagram and DM me. Also follow me on Instagram, because as I'm doing these different challenges, I'm going to be asking you guys like what books I should get for them, what books I should read first in those challenges, things like that. So make sure you're following me on Instagram. I love you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss my next one, and I will see you guys later. Bye.